Yes. Good evening, ma'am. We would begin with the session. I would just request you to give a brief introduction about yourself as well, and then
Yes,
proceed.
yes, sure. So hi everyone, I am Avni Mure. I am an architect and environment planner. I did my bachelor's from NIT Bhopal, master's from SPA Delhi. And yes, I've been uh, working with MNCs, government organizations now for over 7 years. And yes, I'll be teaching environment and disaster portion of the syllabus that you just discussed with Sai ma'am. And yeah, I belong to Madhya Pradesh and Indore, so probably I'll be able to also answer a few state-related questions if there are any. But yes, we'll touch upon when we talk about environment and disaster both. We will discuss a little bit about the state scenario, what's happening currently, what are we prone to, everything. So yes, today's demo is going to be a very general topic, environment impact assessment. But yes, as discussed in the syllabus portion, we'll discuss much more than this when we actually get into the classes. Okay, so yes, let's begin. Environmental impact assessment. I think people who've done M.Plan pursuing done or have been working now for a while, they definitely have worked around with environmental impact assessment. It is something which is, given the current condition and the kind of environment, the kind of situation that we are witnessing these days, it is very important that we know what impact our activities and our developmental activities for that matter have on the environment. And with that thought process, environmental impact assessment was introduced when it was. And it is so everything or every procedure which is a mandatory process is always under a certain act. So we'll start with what EIA means and which act does it come under and what is the process that happens when we talk about environmental impact assessment. So like I said that every developmental activity that we undertake has to have some sort of impact assessment done so that we have an idea beforehand as to what consequences it can lead to. When if you are architecture students, you must have, or you practice architecture, you must be knowing about modeling and all of simulations and modeling. It is a very similar process when you say that we want to know what can go wrong or we want to know what things can work in our favor so that we are better prepared or can scale up on the potential that already exists, right? So if I am going to probably buy a land, build something, invest money, make development happen, I want to know if it's going to give me the thought of advantage, or is it going to harm me in some other way, or is apart from myself, is it going to harm the environment in a very big way, whatever. So initially when this process was introduced by in our country through a legal process, it was with the idea that we were a developing country which was building a lot of dams and big infrastructure projects. Now, these projects, if you have heard in Delhi, there is the biggest dam that we have, Tehri, is actually, and even Koyna in Maharashtra is uh, built. These are some dams which are built on uh, earthquake prone, or they lie in earthquake prone zones. Now the amount of water pressure that builds when there is a dam and a reservoir, that can actually lead to human led earthquakes, which is a study which has already happened. So, Jesse, you must have heard about a dam in China that has led to probably slowing down Earth's rotation or something because there's too much water concentrated in one part. So, there is a lot that can happen with one move that you think is very necessary for development right now. So, to think about all of these consequences, we do this process. And because this should be a legally mandatory statutory process, we have put it under the Environmental Protection Act of 1986. So when you want something to be mandatory, you put it under an act and say that, okay, now it's written, now it has to be followed. There is no way around it. There is no way that you can avoid it until and unless you decide to change the outcome of the activity, right? So EIA is to decide how your activity can be as less harmful and as as beneficial as it can become, and actually a developmental activity from that process. So generally when you talk about bigger industries, you can have chemical plants, or you can have thermal plant projects, or you have big quarries being given to private operators. All of these processes are something which have to mandatorily undergo EIA, because these are landscape changing projects also. When you are developing a quarry, or you found, or you are going to abandon a quarry and move on to some other quarry, all of these projects have a very big impact on the environment. So what happens when it is taken over, and what happens when you abandon it, all has to be counted for when you decide to do it, right? So if you look at EIA, it's not just a study, it's also a decision making tool. So study, when I say, you do an assessment of what is the project about, how much, what is going to be its impact, what are the possible outcomes currently, direct or indirect outcomes. This all will lead you to, or help you to decide if you want to cater to some problems, completely avoid them, or you want to mitigate some issues, but if they are extremely necessary, make those changes, or you mitigate them. Either you decide कि नहीं भाई ये नहीं करेंगे, या ठीक है करना ही पड़ेगा, पर क्या कर सकते हैं so that the impact is lowered. It is also a management tool, because you will know which resources are worth counting for, कि ये सब करके जो इसका आउटकम मुझे मिलने वाला है, is it worth, is it going to be a sustainable thing, or will we run out of resources? What kind of resources are going to be used, and how much do I want to put out on stake? It's also a policy tool, because when we talk about impact assessment, we also assess impacts of policies and plans and programs. So when it comes to environment, we are also kind of developing पॉलिसीज और प्लान्स विच और प्रोग्राम्स, जैसे जब हम वेटलैंड कंजर्वेशन कहते हैं, या ये सब हमने धीरे धीरे एज प्रॉब्लम्स हैव अराइज्ड, वी हैव डन समथिंग टू मिटिगेट और मैनेज देम समहाउ. सो व्हेन वी आर इवन मेकिंग सच पॉलिसीज, वी हैव टू आइडेंटिफाई कि इसका कुछ अर्थ का अनर्थ तो नहीं होने वाला, कि हमने सोचा था कि इस पॉलिसी से ऐसा होगा, पर इसका इम्पैक्ट कुछ उल्टा ही निकल के आ गया. तो ऐसा तो नहीं हो जाएगा. सो पॉलिसी एनालिसिस के लिए भी हम EIA या उस पॉलिसी से आने वाला इम्पैक्ट असेसमेंट भी करते हैं. अगेन इट्स ऑल्सो अ नेशनल इंस्ट्रूमेंट, बिकॉज दिस इज समथिंग विच इज ऑन अ कंट्री लेवल. ऐसा नहीं होगा कि MP में कुछ और ही तरीका है EIA करने का, और कर्नाटका में कुछ और ही तरीका है EIA करने का. इट्स अ नेशनल प्रोसेस. तो जो पूरी कंट्री में एक ही प्रोसेस फॉलो होगी, हर प्रोजेक्ट को एक ही पर्सपेक्टिव से, एक ही प्रोसेस से स्क्रूटनाइज किया जाएगा. तो ये जो होता है, इससे it is a national instrument that helps you put everything in a disciplined bracket. ठीक है. और जितनी जल्दी, the earlier the EIA results and the early stage that it is done, the amount of disadvantages or the bad outcome reduces to a certain extent. तो अगर जैसे जब हम when we talk about simulations and we talk about modeling building में भी, तब भी हम यही देखते हैं कि जितना अर्ली स्टेज ऑफ डिजाइन पे आप सिमुलेट कर लेते हो, आप मॉडलिंग लगा देते हो, आपको पता है कि ड्राइंग अप्रूव हो गई, कंस्ट्रक्शन चालू हो गया, 3 मंजिल खड़ी हो गई, उसके बाद रियलाइज नहीं होगा कि ओ प्रोबेबली ये कोई एक सिस्टम है जो वर्क नहीं करने वाला. आपको फाउंडेशन का गड्ढा खोदते वक्त ही पता होगा कि क्या हो सकता है, और आप वहीं फिक्स कर सकते हो उस चीज को. तो इन अ सिमिलर वे, आपको जितना पहले से पता है, प्रिवेंशन इज बेटर देन क्योर वाला मामला है, कि यू नो इट बिफोर हैंड एंड यू कैन सर्टनली डू समथिंग अबाउट इट. Then how now, like I said, it has evolved on within our country, and like everything else, we have looked at West and how they have tackled this problem and taken some inspiration. So पहले सबसे पहले this EIA process in 1970s was enacted by the US government, where they said that okay, we want to assess all of this. So in their Environmental Policy Act, उन्होंने ये process डाला था. फिर 76 77, when I'm saying that there was a lot of development, infrastructural development in the country, when there were a lot of river valley projects, bigger infrastructure projects, तब सिर्फ DST को कहा गया था, डिपार्टमेंट ऑफ साइंस एंड टेक्नोलॉजी को, DST still funds a lot of researches in the country. So if you go to IITs and everything for your doctorates and postdoctorates, there are a lot of projects which are highly funded by DST. और ये सब इंटरनेशनल कोलैबोरेशंस के भी प्रोजेक्ट होते हैं. तो इसीलिए प्लानिंग कमीशन ने पहले DST को कहा था कि आप ये सब प्रोजेक्ट्स को एनवायरमेंट एंगल से भी देखो और देखो क्या हो सकता है, क्या प्रॉब्लम्स आ सकते हैं. पर फिर ये है कि कुछ ही प्रोजेक्ट्स को क्यों देखो, इन्हीं का इम्पैक्ट होगा क्या, आर दीज दी ओनली प्रोजेक्ट्स दैट आर गोइंग टू कॉज प्रॉब्लम्स? नो, देयर आर मल्टीपल अदर प्रोजेक्ट्स व्हिच आर गोइंग टू कॉज प्रॉब्लम्स. For example, I think SPA Delhi has been allotted a land on a ridge, some ridge, but the college has refused to move to that place because one, we don't know what the environmental impact is, and plus it's a very far off place. Why would we want to leave such a prominent location and go? But a major issue is that being a planning college, how can we accept a land which is environmentally fragile? We already know the biodiversity problems there. Why would we move there? But it has been a contesting thing between the government and the college where they're not getting any other land to build a bigger campus. क्योंकि पता है कि वहां प्रॉब्लम है. तो ये आपको पहले से पता है. तो ऐसा तो नहीं है कि कोई कॉलेज कैंपस प्रॉब्लम क्रिएट नहीं कर सकता, बस डैम का प्रोजेक्ट ही प्रॉब्लम क्रिएट कर सकता है. तो पहले इट वाज वेरी रेस्ट्रिक्टेड बिकॉज आवर अंडरस्टैंडिंग वी वर नॉट हैविंग दैट बिग अ प्रोजेक्ट. But now, when we slowly realized, we said that, okay, no, we formalized this and we put this under an act, which happened in 1986. Now, post 1986 act that we have now, 1992 में हमने इसको formally include कर लिया. When we also look at other environmental topics, when we get to the actual classes, you will see that there have been a lot of international conferences which we have been a party to as country, and they have impacted the kind of laws we formulated around environment in India. तो जैसे एक स्टॉकहोम कॉन्फ्रेंस है, एक ये अर्थ समिट है, रियो कॉन्फ्रेंस है, फिर कुछ प्रोटोकॉल्स हैं जिनका हम पार्ट हैं. तो ऐसी ना कुछ माइलस्टोन बिग कॉन्फ्रेंसेस या कुछ इवेंट्स हैं जिनमें जब हमने कुछ मैनिफेस्टो साइन किए, उसके बाद आके हमने कंट्री में काफी सारा चेंज लाया, विच हैज ब्रॉट अस इन अ डिसेंट पोजिशन. स्टिल वी हैव अ लॉट टू गो, बट यस. तो EIA was formalized in 1992 after the Earth Summit. 1994 में देर इज प्रॉपर एक नोटिफिकेशन आया कि क्या प्रोसेस रहेगी, क्या क्या करना रहेगा, किसको अप्लाई करो, क्या करो. सो एक पूरी प्रॉपर प्रोसेस, और उसके बाद आउटकम क्या है, तो आपको एनवायरमेंटल क्लियरेंस एक सर्टिफिकेट देते हैं. वेयर यू से, जैसे आप जब रेसिडेंशियल बिल्डिंग बनाते हो आपको ऑक्यूपेशन सर्टिफिकेट मिलता है, OC, जो बिल्डिंग बनने के बाद और पूरा इंस्पेक्शन ऑडिट होने के बाद बनता है, वैसे ही जब प्रोजेक्ट पूरा ऑडिट होके इंस्पेक्ट होके तैयार है, उसके बाद आपको क्लियरेंस सर्टिफिकेट मिलता है कि ठीक है भाई, गो अहेड, स्टार्ट बिल्डिंग इट. अब हमने आपका सब देख लिया है, यूर ऑल गुड टू गो. राइट, सो दैट इज एनवायरमेंटल क्लियरेंस विच यू गेट. इट के एनवायरमेंटल क्लियरेंस हैज टू बी गेन्ड एट एवरी स्टेज. तो आपने कोई प्रोजेक्ट 10 साल पहले बनाया था, but now you want to expand or add a unit or modify, change the technology that you have used, you can wish for any modification. But when you wish for a modification, you have to again go back and apply for a clearance, because maybe the new technology, the new change, the new unit can lead to some consequences which were not accounted for in your previous clearance certificate, right? So every time you decide to make a change, you have to go back, apply for the certificate, get it done, and only then you can make a change. 2006 we had then a proper categorization of the project. अभी क्या होता है, जनरली जब आप कोई भी प्रोसेस चालू करते हो तो आप कहते हो नहीं 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 नहीं, सबको सबको सबको. फिर आपको रियलाइज होता है कि हर प्रोसेस, हर एप्लीकेशन, जब आपको एक एक बैठ के आपको एनालाइज करनी पड़ती है, जवाब भेजने पड़ते हैं, और अगर आपने एक्ट में डाला हुआ है कि वो 7 दिन में जवाब आना चाहिए, नहीं तो सब अपने आप ऑटो क्लियर हो जाएगा, तो ये सारी प्रोसेस में आपको रियलाइज होता है कि ये सब पॉसिबल नहीं है. अगर आप एक डेवलपिंग कंट्री हो, लेफ्ट राइट एंड सेंटर प्रोजेक्ट चल रहे हैं, आप कितनी तेज, और जितना तेज, द मोमेंट यू स्टार्ट मेकिंग फास्ट ट्रैकिंग डिसीजंस, देयर इज अ हायर पॉसिबिलिटी ऑफ एरर and missing out on important things. So then they realize that, okay, probably we need to categorize projects and we need to see कि सब चीज को probably नहीं है जरूरत इतना डीप में एनालाइज करने की. कुछ चीजों को करते हैं, कुछ चीजों को छोड़ देते हैं, उनको बनाने देते हैं, हो जाएगा, ठीक है, चलता है. So then they gave out a categorization of projects. depending on if you are a residential project, or if you are a campus, or if you are an industry, if you are a polluting industry, if you're a non-polluting industry, if you have this much bada land, or if you have this chota land, whatever. So they started properly giving out criteria on how will it be decided if you need to do an EIA or not do an EIA, right? Another amendment to this notification had come in 2020, which kind of died down because of all the COVID and everything. And again, वो पहले 2-3 महीने जब कोविड नहीं भी था और ये अमेंडमेंट आया था, तो एटलीस्ट आई रिमेम्बर कि हमारा जो एल्यूमनाई व्हाट्सएप ग्रुप है उस पे बहुत लंबा डिबेट हुआ था कि ये गलत है। जब सीआरजेड का नोटिफिकेशन आया था तब भी हुआ था, जब ईआईए का नोटिफिकेशन आया था तब भी हुआ था। बहुत लंबा लंबा डिस्कशन कि ये सब बहुत डाइल्यूट कर रहे हैं हम, ये डेवलपमेंट को ईज करने के चक्कर में, जो ईज ऑफ डूइंग बिजनेस और ईज 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 के चक्कर में हम ना सब कुछ जो स्ट्रिक्ट था विच इज एक्चुअली बेनिफिशियल फॉर अस, हम ये सब कुछ बहुत डाइल्यूट कर रहे हैं। So I don't think that a new notification has come out. We are still depending on the 2006 one, but there was one proposed in 2020, which was not accepted because जब जैसे ये this is all a public thing, right? जब कोई भी ऐसा प्रोसीजरल चेंज आता है तो पब्लिक डोमेन में बात आती है। जब आप ईआईए प्रोसेस भी अभी हम डिस्कस करेंगे तो उसमें यू विल सी दैट देर इज अ वे हाउ थिंग्स आर चेंज्ड। जैसे अगर आप कोई बिल राज्यसभा लोकसभा जाता है तो एक पूरी प्रोसेस है कि वो कैसे बिल एक हाउस से दूसरे हाउस में पास होता है, फिर प्रेसिडेंट उस पे साइन करता है, फिर वो कुछ बन के निकलता है, फिर वो एक प्रोसेस बनती है। तो वैसे ही अगर आपको नोटिफिकेशन या ईआईए में चेंज चाहिए तो आपको पब्लिक डोमेन में चीजें डालनी पड़ती हैं। फिर जो एनजीओज एक्सपर्ट सब्जेक्ट मैटर एक्सपर्ट्स होते हैं उनकी राय ली जाती है, पब्लिक ओपिनियन आता है, और अगर पब्लिक आउटरेज आता है तो रीथिंक भी करना पड़ता है। तो ये बहुत लंबा प्रोसेस होता है। सो आई होप आई हैव मेड सेंस अप टिल नाउ, एंड नाउ we'll get to the categorization and how the process unfolds. Okay, are we good up till here? Do I have you guys? Even if you encounter me in the regular classes, I need some assurance from time to time. मुझे थोड़ा validation चाहिए होता है जब क्लास चल रही होती है, because I can't see you. So I need some thumbs up or some yes or a maybe or okay to know that things are going well and you are still very much awake. Okay, so moving on to project categorization. Now, like I said, depending on how big a land you're working on, what are going to be your impacts? Are you going to have health impacts or environmental? So on land use change impact, or there are going to be some indirect impacts. The kind of things or the kind of projects that you're going to handle will decide कि कौन सी कैटेगरी में लाए करोगे आप. So there are three categories. One is A, which is a mandatory category. If you fall, there are criteria. So there is an entire notification which has a list of category A projects कौन से हैं, B1 कौन से हैं, B2 कौन से हैं. ठीक है. With category A projects, if you lie in a category A project, say you are putting a polluting industry, then you need a mandatory environmental clearance. अगर आपने इसी नहीं लिया है आप कुछ नहीं कर सकते. कल पोल्यूशन कंट्रोल बोर्ड आएगा, आपके फैक्ट्री पे ताला मार के चला जाएगा, आप कुछ नहीं कर सकोगे, कंटेस्ट भी नहीं कर सकोगे, कहीं नहीं जा सकोगे. सो मैंडेटरी एनवायरमेंटल क्लियरेंस फॉर कैटेगरी ए प्रोजेक्ट्स. देन देर आर कैटेगरी बी प्रोजेक्ट्स. अभी बी प्रोजेक्ट्स में क्या होता है, थोड़ा डाइसी है कि शायद करना पड़ेगा या नहीं करना पड़ेगा. So there is a form that you fill up and upload on the website of MOEFCC, Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change. उनकी वेबसाइट से ये सारा प्रोसीजर होता है. So you upload a basic form. If they write back to you saying that, oh, you lie in B1, then you undergo the entire process of EIA. If they reply back saying no, you lie in the category B2, you don't need an EIA, then you don't do it. You are just done with, you get an environmental clearance just basis that one form that you have submitted. So for category B projects, there's always a first step that you have to do, which is called screening, which decides if you will need an EIA or will not need an EIA. But if you fall in category A, there's no question, you have to do an EIA. Okay. So the first process, like I said, कि आप कोई से भी category में हो, first stage सबको करनी पड़ती है. You have to fill up that form 1 and submit if and go on with the process if you are category A and wait for the response if you are category B. तो जनरली हर लेवल पे एक कमिटी होता है. सो देर इज अ नेशनल अप्रूवल कमिटी एंड देर इज अ स्टेट एक्सपर्ट अप्रूवल कमिटी, अप्रेजल कमिटी. सो once you submit your form, the form is scrutinized by the state level committee, and then they will tell you if you lie in category B1 or category B2. If in B2, don't do an EIA. If in B1, do a EIA. Okay. Once you are crossed this stage, once you are there, now you know that you have to do an EIA. What happens? There is a scoping. अभी EIA में any project also that you take up, जब आपकी कंपनी के पास एक्सप्रेशन ऑफ इंटरेस्ट आता है, ठीक है, कि आपको टेंडर भरना है, तो उसमें भी कुछ टर्म्स होते हैं कि कुछ डिसीजन होता है कि भाई क्या आपको क्या क्या इंक्लूडेड रहेगा. इफ यू आर टेंडरिंग, और अगर आपकी कंपनी टेंडर भरी है कि मैं डीपीआर बनाऊंगा, तो डीपीआर बनाने की भी कोई टर्म्स कंडीशंस होते हैं कि आप क्या क्या इंक्लूड करके दोगे, किस चीज का खर्चा आप उठाओगे, किस चीज का खर्चा हायरिंग एजेंसी उठाएगी, कितने लोग आप रखोगे, उनका क्या बैकग्राउंड होगा. सो देयर आर अ लॉट ऑफ टर्म्स ऑफ रेफरेंस, basically a skeleton or a structure in which you will work, right? So the national level or the state level committee will define a TOR for you depending on what you have submitted in EIA. You can reply back within 30 days saying if you're okay with the TOR or not, right? Then this process has to finish within 60 days of application. So if I have made an application within 2 months of time, ये सब give and take and decision of TOR must finish. So once your TOR is done, then you are out there to implement that TOR, right? अगर आपने TOR पे कोई acceptance या EC यहीं पर रिजेक्ट हो जाएगी अगर आपने TOR पे कोई रिस्पॉन्स नहीं दिया है तो. ओके. तो अगर आप with whatever you if your TOR is being accepted, if your TOR is being rejected, any sort of response has to come in 60 days. If it's a rejection, it has to come with a reason कि oh, as government हम आपका TOR reject कर रहे हैं XYZ, right? But whatever has to happen in 2 months within the application submission. Once you are past this stage and your TOR has been decided, then you move on to the third step, right? Where you develop a report, where you actually do the assessment and you make an environment management plan कि okay, मैंने स्टडी कर लिया है कि क्या क्या प्रॉब्लम हो सकता है, उसमें से जो जो प्रॉब्लम्स मैंने आइडेंटिफाई किए, दिस इज माय मैनेजमेंट प्लान, this is what I can do. If there is a process that I can look an alternative for, I am going to do that too, right? So you then in the third stage, you end up making a plan for it. Now, once you have done that, now you are ready with your process. You have made an environment management plan. Now what happens is, now you take it to the public. So in presence of the appraisal committee, in presence of the pollution control board, you have to give an advertisement in a paper saying कि इस प्रोजेक्ट के लिए एक कंसल्टेशन होने वाला है, ये प्रोजेक्ट की बेसिक आउटलाइन है, इस टाइम से इस टाइम के बीच में ऑन दिस डेट एट दिस वेन्यू ये कंसल्टेशन है, प्लीज कम अटेंड इट. एंड देन पीपल हैव टू एंड यू हैव टू गिव इट वेल इन एडवांस. आपको महीना भर पहले एडवांस में ये चीज पेपर में पब्लिश करनी होती है कि ऐसी ऐसी एक मीटिंग होने वाली है. उस मीटिंग में जो भी लोग आएंगे, उनका जो भी रिस्पॉन्स होगा, आप वो सब कुछ यू विल नोट देम डाउन and you will give a response to all those questions which are raised in this public consultation, and you will submit the response within 45 days of that consultation. आप ये सब कुछ जो भी objections, जो भी questions लोगों ने उठाए during this consultation, you will answer them and prepare a note on it within 45 days. Now, once this submission is done, once you have submitted your notes, once you have addressed all of these issues which were raised in public consultation in your EIA and EMP, then you submit your final report to the state appraisal committee, right? Abhi state appraisal committee will take this final report, it will scrutinize it, it will send it to the national committee, and the national committee should come back to you with an answer, be it acceptance, be it rejection, be it reworking, whatever required within 2 months of reaching them. So if I was the state committee and I have passed on the project to the national committee today, within 10th of July, the applicant should have an answer as to what needs to be done. Does he need to rework it? Does he need to go ahead with it, or is it rejected? If you do not get the answer, you can go ahead or you are granted an environmental clearance. ओके, तो आपको ये मिलने के बाद, आपको सारा फाइनल डिसीजन मिल जाने के बाद, यू गेट एन एनवायरमेंटल क्लियरेंस taken which you can do your, you can implement or you can undertake your project. Once you get this environmental clearance, you also have to publish it in the newspaper in English language and in native language. आपको पेपर में पब्लिश करना है कि आपको क्लियरेंस सर्टिफिकेट मिल गया है, और ये क्लियरेंस सर्टिफिकेट पब्लिक डोमेन में होता है ऑन द MOFCC वेबसाइट ऑल्सो परमानेंटली, so that people who had come to your consultation, they find out if you have done the if you have gotten the certificate or not. If they know you have gotten it, then they can go and check the reports that you have submitted and see if their problems were addressed adequately. ठीक है, तो ये पूरा प्रोसेस है that you undertake while you are trying. This is the entire EIA process, और ये सब environmental clearance का काम आपको करना है if you are undertaking any project which lies in category B1 और category A. कैटेगरी B2 में जनरली सब टाउनशिप्स या रेसिडेंशियल प्रोजेक्ट्स आते हैं, जिनका फॉर्म 1 में अगर जो भी फिलअप करना है, अगर वो सेटिस्फैक्टरी है, तो उनका EIA जनरली नहीं करना पड़ता है, या बहुत छोटे लैंड पे अगर कुछ बन रहा है तो उसका EIA नहीं करना पड़ता है, पर जनरली रेसिडेंशियल प्रोजेक्ट्स आर exempted from EIA. So yes, this is where I will want to uh, stop for the demo, and I will hand it over to the exam short coordinators for further discussion.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for the demo lecture. It was indeed very insightful. And I hope it was helpful for everybody as well. Yes. Can you all just let us know quickly in the chat box? Okay, good, Rohit. Others? Okay. Okay, great. So thank you, ma'am. Other than that, अगर और किसी को कोई भी और questions होंगे तो आप पूछ सकते हो. Else we can call it a day. Yes, anybody? Yes, the PDFs of the lectures will be available. Okay. No, you will not get printed material. The PDFs will be available, which will be online, accessible online. Yes. Any other questions? कोई और questions है? Any other study material apart from class? Yeah, no, I think what will be provided in the class is more than enough. Focus आपका ज़्यादा revision पे होना चाहिए. ठीक है? Yes, so Kaksha, the session will be from 8 to 9:30 tentatively, or 8:30 to 10. So basically 1.5 hours on an average we will have the session per lecture. Okay. So Gayatri, we will be having subject wise mock test. जो भी आपका subject wise पढ़ाया जाएगा उसका mock test, and उसके बाद फिर full length mock test होगा. People from other states also can apply. You will be considered under the open category. Okay. Yes. Any other questions? Yes, Zoom user recorded sessions available होंगे एग्जाम के डेट तक. Till the date of the exam, you can access the recordings as many times as you want for your revision as well. The classes will be conducted on alternate days, that is Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. So once we begin from 15th May, We will be finishing the classes by mid-August to end August, last week of August. Okay, the class timing will be finalized depending upon all the enrollments. अगर सारे students comfortable है 8:30, so we can shift it to 8:30. Otherwise, it will be from 8. We can decide that once all the students, we discuss with all the students. Okay. No, Shrutika, no possibility. As of now, no morning classes. So for general knowledge, you can refer the state examination, the state board, मध्य प्रदेश स्टेट बोर्ड जो है उसके जो टेक्स्ट बुक्स आते हैं, राइट, यू कैन रेफर दैट. यस गायत्री, ये हम जो डिटेल्ड प्रेपरेशन क्लास होगा 12 मई को, उसमें भी हम ये सोर्सेज डिस्कस करेंगे एक बार. फाइन, एनी अदर क्वेश्चंस? ओके, so this offer is valid only for today. Okay, so whoever wants to enroll may please do so by today itself. In case if you have any further questions, you can also ask. No, mock test will happen on part 2 of the paper. कक्षा. ओके, जो क्लासेस में हम सिर्फ पार्ट 2 कवर करेंगे, जो टाउन प्लानिंग या प्लानिंग का पार्ट है. ठीक है, मॉक टेस्ट भी आपको सिर्फ प्लानिंग वाले पार्ट पे ही दिए जाएंगे एग्जाम अश्योर की तरफ से. श्रेया, बोथ सब्जेक्ट वाइज, सो प्लानिंग हिस्ट्री मान लो या फिर प्लानिंग टेक्निक्स हो गया, सो वो टॉपिक वाइज आपके मॉक टेस्ट होंगे. उसके अलावा उसके एडिशन में फुल लेंथ मॉक टेस्ट भी होगा. Yes, any further questions? Shrutika, you can click on the link given in the chat box below to avail the offer for today. Yes, any further questions, anybody? Yes, the link is given in the chat box below. You can click on that link and proceed. अगर किसी को कोई भी डाउट आया तो जो नंबर दिया है 7631766140, आप उस पर कांटेक्ट करके भी आपके सारे डाउट्स क्लियर कर सकते हो. Okay, so I will see you all again on 12th of May, where we will have a little more detailed session on the strategy, and we will begin with our classes from 15th of May. Raj, this offer is there till 11:59 p.m. today. Will there be 2 papers of 3 hours each, or all 450 marks? All 450 marks in 3 hours. 150 questions in 3 hours. So 50 for paper 1 and 100 questions for paper 2. Fine. So the written exam, you will not have separate paper. Okay, separate paper 1 अलग से and paper 2 अलग से. एक ही question paper होगा, उसमें you will have 2 parts. So you have to sit for the exam only once and attempt. Okay, Gayatri. Yes. Chalo. So thank you everyone. Wish you all the best. For any queries, you can get in touch with the Exam Assure team.